तीसरी आयत है, कोई पढ़े?
और उनमें से जिनको मैंने रूए हिकमत से भरा है, सबको जिनका दाना दिल है, तू कह के हारून के लिए लिबास बनाए।
Yes, please, you read it. You are to instruct all the ablest craftsmen to give, whose ability I have given them, to make Aaron vestments for his consecration to my priesthood. वहाँ पे एरन को खुदा ने अपना प्रीस्ट बनाने के लिए उसको कॉन्सिक्रेट किया, और उसको किसने कॉन्सिक्रेट किया था वो हम बाद में देखेंगे। लेकिन यहाँ प्रीस्ट जो है वो गुनाहों के लिए, इंसानों के गुनाहों के लिए he is performing rituals, the sacrifice of an animal, of a lamb or a ram or whatever, just for the forgiveness of the sins of the people who have offered that sacrifice. Before that, before the consecration of Aaron and all, if you take Job chapter 5, अय्यूब की किताब, उसका पहला बाब 5 में, Job. I will take you all over in the Bible so that you please keep writing all these references. Job 5 verse 1. No, Job chapter 1 verse 5. And see what it says, and please you read it.
Job,
अय्यूब की किताब, उसका पहला बाब,
chapter 1:5. Read properly.
You know what? I think some elders should also read it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Job 1 verse 5, yes. When the days of the feast had run their course, Job would send to the sacrificer, and he would rise early in the morning and offer burnt offerings according to the number of them all. But Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed God in their hearts. Thus Job did continue.
Now you see here, if you see, Job was not a priest. Job was not a priest. He was before the time of Aaron and all. Because they haven't given the time when Job existed. It's a story. If you look at Job chapter 1, first time. There was once a man in the land of Uz called Job, a sound and honest man who feared God and shunned evil. 7 sons and 3 daughters were born to him. And he owned 7,000 sheep, 3,000 and so on and so. And then this man was indeed a man of mark among the people of the East. It was the custom of his sons to hold banquets in each other's house, one after the other, and to send and invite their 3 sisters to eat and drink with them. Once each series of banquets are over, Job would send for them to come and be purified. Come and be purified. It was like this after that feast that they used to have for a few days. And it was assumed that these people, while celebrating or enjoying the feast, they might have committed some sins. And you know what kind of sins were those? That they must have eaten something which is forbidden. And they didn't realize what they are eating. And like that they have committed something, they have committed a sin. So Job, the head of the family would call them to be purified. And then he would perform, and he said, and at dawn on the following day, he would offer a holocaust for each of them. Holocaust, do you understand Holocaust? Qurbani. And they will give an animal which was offered to God. And Job would do on behalf of his sons and daughters, and would offer a holocaust. Perhaps Job would say, my sons have sinned, and in their hearts affronted God. So that was what he used to do after each series of feasts that he used to. So here, this is another thing where you would find that Job was not ordained, but he was performing something to purify his sons, his daughters, and ask for forgiveness of their sins, offering a sacrifice for the forgiveness of sins. It's very strange that without an ordination that he was, and this is where many of our other denominations, they perhaps will follow this, that anybody can be priest, and whereas in the Catholic Church, priest has to be ordained. Unless he is ordained, consecrated, he cannot. Maybe tomorrow we will see when a priest is consecrated, his fingers are consecrated, his palm is consecrated, and likewise other things. And it's not a small thing, it's a very long training that they undergo. Whereas I have seen here, everywhere, anybody who can read and understand a bit of Bible becomes a pastor, and then they start preaching and all, you see. And I think preaching is the only thing, and what they preach is mainly to have your relationship with Jesus. Of course you have, anybody can have a relationship with Jesus, but forgiveness of sins, how will it come? It cannot come without the sacrifice of Jesus. And this is the most important thing, this forgiveness of sins without entering into Jesus' sacrifice. How can you have your sins forgiven? So this is what they don't understand. And they think that the authority has been given to the priest, and they have the authority, and therefore we just cannot get into that authority and do what other priests are. Catholic priesthood is a very, very different and very sacred thing. And it is very much in the lines. You will see that there is another story also. Do you know that for forgiveness of sins, where a sacrifice of an animal is a must? Do you know who was the first priest who offered a sacrifice in the history of mankind? I thought so, you would say that.
I think it was Abraham.
God.
Yes, absolutely right.
Yeah,
You know, where?
in Genesis 3,
Yes.
where he sacrificed the lamb and
Can you read for us?
Yes, that is, that is it. God is the first priest who sacrificed the animal and took the skin off that animal to make clothes for Adam and Eve. To cover the sins of Adam and Eve, even God has to sacrifice an animal.
What is the quotation?
Genesis.
What is
Genesis 3. It is Genesis 3. Remember, man,